Are you the someone who always face challenges or feels stuck whenever you are getting into the behavioral questions in the interview? Or you are someone who always passes the technical interviews but you always struggle to answer any behavioral questions? So in this video, we are going to talk about behavioral questions in any interview. So this video is going to be related to the automation testing related interview questions. So this is a full length series of automation testing related interview questions where I am covering different questions from different areas of interview. So I am also creating a full playlist of the automation testing related interview questions. So if you see here, I have created this automation testing interview questions. All different questions we are going to cover in this particular series. So in my previous video, I was covering introduction part where I had told how you can answer the question, tell me about yourself in any interview. So in this particular series of videos, you are going to see behavioral questions. We are going to cover behavioral questions. So I found top 15 behavioral questions which I had explored and covered from different sources. So these are most asked behavioral questions. So don't forget to watch till end because these are going to be very important and helpful as well. So let's see what is the first behavioral question. So we are covering different questions. So first question is, how do you prioritize your tasks when you have tight deadlines? Okay, and second one is related to tell me about time when you have collaborated with a cross-functional team. What challenges did you face? So something like that. We have different 15 questions. So I'll just cover this one. Let's see how we are going to answer this. So I'm also going to tell my story. How do I prepare all these questions? So how do you prioritize your tasks when you have tight deadlines? So generally we can divide this particular question in 4 different parts. Like, what is the purpose? It is just for us to understand what is the purpose of this question. If interviewer asks this question, then what is purpose of this? What interviewer want to achieve from this question actually? So the purpose of this is knowing your time management and organizational skills. So how do you prioritize basically? So how do you handle high pressure situations? Your ability to focus on critical tasks and meet deadlines without compromising quality. And you have your problem solving and decision making process. Basically, how do you process the things if there are a requirement? So I have also mentioned some sample, not some, but only one sample answer here. So we'll go through that. So you can answer this in this way. Like in my previous, role as automation test engineer, I encountered a situation where were tasked. So basically, you have to go through. You have to first tell the situation. How there were multiple tasks in your bucket, and how what were the priority of those, and how did you reach to the answer? How did you prioritize basically? So for my example, if I take tomorrow, like on Monday, I have to take do couple of tasks, which are, some of them are low priority and some of them are very critical also I need to deliver. So maybe I have to work on related to the one of the AI tool which I am building in my company. So I have to give the demo for that to my manager. So that is on utmost priority because I have to demo that to my manager, and further she is going to demo to the higher management. So that is going to be top priority for me. Another task is validation. So we do regular validation of regression test cases on patch and releases. So that is another task which goes weekly. So that is also we do on a weekly basis. So that is also one of the tasks to me. So we have multiple tasks. So basically we have to make sure which task has what priority, and how are you going to decide the priority basically? So either you have to showcase that to your manager or to higher management or something, or there is a deadline. So in here also, in this sample answer also, I had depicted one situation. So like I encountered a situation where we were tasked with automating the regression suite for a critical release, and deadline was only 2 days away. So we had a lot of work, like 50 test cases to automate. So how to approach to solve this? Like there were 50 test cases to automate and time was only 2 days. So in that case, you have to assess the priority first, then break down tasks in smaller parts, like where how can you complete that, and all those things. Delegate and collaborate. So whatever task, so because there is a huge task, so you cannot complete alone, right? So you have to delegate that task also and collaborate. So that is another approach. And another thing which you need to do: utilize automation best practices to make sure that you don't lose out on the quality of the work in hurry. So effective communication is also important. So assess the priority first. You have to tell that, okay, like 50 test cases are there, then if I had divided that 50 test cases into the priority wise, like which one are most critical and important. So like some critical bugs are there and all those things, then you have to break down the tasks. So divided the work into smaller chunks, such as writing scripts, integrating them into the framework, and reviewing the test data. All this test preparation thing also comes into picture when you are trying to automate something. Then delegate. So whatever task you are you can do, you have to take all the critical tasks, because you have to showcase also that you had worked on something which was very critical and you handled the situation. So all of those things, and you have to delegate also whichever are the less priority tasks to others, and you collaborated. How did you collaborate? Like you have to communicate effectively or constantly to the person whom you are collaborating with. Another thing, automation best practices. So reuse existing functions, framework, instead of building everything from scratch. So whatever are going to be reducing or taking your less time, you have to make sure you are using that in order to save the time instead of wasting time, because you have only 2 days in this particular scenario which we are discussing. Effective communication. So I kept my test lead, because to whoever you are reporting, it is very, very important to communicate properly. You, even if you are not able to complete that task, then also it is very, very crucial to tell that I may not be able to finish this, or I could finish this much and I am still left with this. So maybe that helps a lot to understand the situation, and if any corrective measures need to be taken, then manager can help you in that case also. Now coming back to the outcome part. So what is the outcome of all these activities? So you have to tell about the outcomes also. So whatever things you did, what was the outcome of that? So that's how you have to frame your question. How do you prioritize your task when you have tight deadline? So you have to understand the priority. You have to take a situation basically. So you have to take a situation, and you have to break that down into multiple parts, multiple tasks, smaller tasks basically. You have to break down that in smaller parts, and then you have to tell what was the outcome. So with that particular activity, whatever we did, we were able to automate the critical areas, and with the help of that, actually we executed 70% of regression suite. So that kind of you have to tell the outcome also. And what are the key takeaways from this? Basically, you just can tell that, okay, I learned that clear prioritization also, efficient delegation, and leveraging existing resources are essential for meeting tight deadlines whenever are there, tight deadlines are there. So in this question, basically, you can just break down or take a situation, break down that particular task in smaller tasks, and whichever task you can take, you have to take, and delegate rest of the things. And you have to make sure that you also maintain the quality of the work. Second question is, tell me about a time when you collaborated with a cross-functional team. What challenges did you face? Again, to understand this question, interviewer want to understand teamwork and collaboration skills, how you interact with different roles and departments, like developers. Sometimes you need to talk to developers, product managers and designers and different teams, so your ability to navigate communication barriers and resolve conflicts, because if we are interacting with multiple teams, then it is very obvious that you may face some conflicts or challenges. Maybe person cannot or may not answer you at the same time, so all those challenges comes into picture. So those things also they wanted to understand your approach to solving complex multi-stakeholder problems. So where multiple people are involved in that situation, what you can do if there are any situation like that, then will you be able to answer that or not? So again, in this case, you have to go with the same formula, like you have to take one situation, if possible in your company. If you had encountered such a situation, you have to tell how did you do that. So here is one of the one particular sample answer. So in one of my previous projects, we were working on a web application for an e-commerce client. Our cross-functional team included developers, product managers, UI UX designers, like all the stakeholders you have to mention. And then your role was, you also have to mention your role, smooth test automation integration for both front-end and back-end functionalities. Again, different priorities across teams, lack of clear communication, and how to address the challenges. Basically, you have to tell what different priorities were there across teams. So why you handled, or how you collaborated with different teams, you have to tell. So because different teams have different priorities also. It is not it may not happen that you just go and other person may reply to you straightforward, or whatever task is more important to you may not be important to others. So in that case, what may happen that you pinged that person and that person didn't reply at all. So these kind of things also happens. So here I had mentioned that product team prioritized delivering new features quickly, while the testing team focused on ensuring stability and quality. This created conflicts, right? This created conflicts over timelines, as testing was perceived as bottleneck. So sometimes from the management side, or to the people who are developing the product, they consider testing as a bottleneck also. It is time eating activities and all those things, but anyways, they don't understand that quality is most important thing. If you don't deliver quality, then a product is of no use, right? So tell me if you also think like that quality is more important, and quality is more important than development. Because if you don't, even if you had a nice looking UI and product, but your product has bugs or issues, do you think any product will work? No, right? Tell me your thoughts if you had also faced such challenges in your company, or you also had listened this kind of things in your with your from your colleagues or in company. So lack of clear communication, this is also another challenge which comes into picture when you are collaborating with multiple teams. So initial requirements were vague, which led to the misunderstanding between development and testing teams. So sometimes processes are not clearly defined, or there are some requirements which are not very much clear, and because of that there are misunderstandings. So for example, a feature intended to be responsive was tested only on a desktop due to unclear expectations. So if it was only developed or optimized for desktop, it may not work for other browsers, or maybe other browsers, or maybe on mobile or something like that. So again, how did you address these challenges? So first you told in here what were the challenges, right? Because this question is related to the how you have collaborated. So you have to tell a situation, then you have to tell the challenges actually, and then how did you address that challenge. So in here basically you have to tell something like you have to come up with the solutions. So what are solutions? Established clear communication channels, promoted a collaborative mindset, created a shared responsibility framework. So all of these things actually helps when you create a channel where multiple people can collaborate and talk to each other. Then it becomes really easy to talk to multiple people. So setting up stand-ups or collaboration calls, so in there you can discuss and they can also come up with their challenges and all those things. Promoted a collaborative mindset, so because you don't have to get into the tussle, right? So anyways, you have to make them understand that you are also working for the quality and the product at the end, and company, we have shared goals. So that's what you have also to you also have to tell. And they also should understand that you all are working for a shared goal, and as a team you have to achieve that. You can't achieve anything at if you're working alone. So that's shared responsibility, and you have to tell that also. That's called collaborative mindset. And created a shared responsibility framework. So something like you have created Jira board. So these are the action items which you did in order to handle this situation. So Jira board, or track progress and dependencies. You set a proper proper expectations from both the team, and then you had created these tasks and tracking and monitoring all these things. So this is how you are going to tell that, okay, this you have collaborated, and you have to first tell about the situation, then what are the challenges and how did you address that challenge. So this is how you are going to answer this question perfectly, and outcome of this is going to be whatever you have told. By improving communication and fostering collaboration, we reduce the number of missed requirements by 30%. You can give any numbers or something like that if you already have. If not, then let it be. I mean, you just have to tell the outcome. What was the outcome, how it impacted your team or the product quality or something like that. So you also have to tell the outcome. And what are the key takeaways? So basically it's for you that I learned from this that cross-functional teams, clear communications, and how we can collaboratively work, and collaborative mindsets actually helps to deliver things quickly and with quality. So that's how you are going to tell all these. So let's move on. Question number 3. Which is, describe your process for solving problems. What step do you take to resolve important issues at work? So basically in here also, see, it is asking about the process of resolving any problems. So first of all, in this question also, you have to go with the any situation basically. So the purpose of this question is to understand your problem solving approach and critical thinking skills. Basically, if you can just tell about something, some situations, handle high pressure situations, and make data driven decisions and all those things, and your ability to break down complex issues, because you also have to understand the big task. You cannot achieve big tasks at once. Ultimately, you have to break that down in smaller tasks and make those tasks manageable. And also tracking is very important, and monitoring. So if you can't monitor, measure something, then you cannot progress. You cannot see the progress in there. So that is also very important, whether your process is proactive, structured, and result oriented or not. So basically they want to understand that what is your problem solving skill, how do you handle high pressure situations, your ability to break down complex issues. So all these are the purpose of asking this question. So in this particular question, something you have to tell: in my role as an automation test engineer, I encountered a situation where one of our critical regression tests, it kept failing intermittently, causing delays. So this also has happened with me also. So this situation is here. Recently, I was on leave due to the last days of this 2024. So due to that, I couldn't I wasn't there. So because of that, many tests had started failing because of some service issues or many issues, and now you have to, and I have to fix those as well. So how I am going to fix those, that is also, you know, kind of problem solving thing. So how I am going to approach that, basically, first of all, I try to understand the problem, why tests are failing. If there is a particular set pattern due to which it is failing, so I identified that why tests are failing because of that. And after that, I reached out the stakeholders who were working on those test cases or who were owner of them, and then, you know, I identified and then reached out to them, telling them or describing what is the root cause of that, and then, you know, collaborating with them in order to fix that. So whatever things I can understand and I can fix, I just go and fix, and if I cannot, then I reach out to collaborate and then get it fixed, or you know, fix myself, but get the insights from them. So that's how, you know, you have to think about. So steps that that I took to resolve this issue is identify and analyze the problem. As I mentioned, that we have to understand what is the problem because of which tests are failing, then gather information and collaborate. Then gather information and collaborate simply means that you have to go with most preparation, you know, most prepared way, because if somebody else you are going to and asking for help, they should have proper information, and if you don't have that information, then it is not going to help them. So eventually you have to gather the information, why tests are failing and all those things, then solate the issue, not solate, it is isolate basically. So isolate the issue, because there is a big heap in which you are just searching why tests are failing, what is the problem. So you have to make sure that you are dividing certain areas where you are, you know, isolating why it may happen, why it may not happen. So all those things you have to implement, and then once you had identified the issue, then you have to implement a situation or solution, then verify and validate whether that is, after applying the fix, it is working fine or not, and then last, document and share the learnings. Because what to do if the similar kind of issue happens again? So in that case, you have to document also. It is very important. Most of us don't do such things, but it is very important to have such you know, insightful documents. So this is how you have to handle this question. I had created all the answers in here under each of them. So how are you going to answer this? Basically, you have to analyze the problem, then you have to gather the information and collaborate, isolate the issue, and then implement a solution, then test that, and then document the learnings. So this is simple process to solve any particular problem. And what is the outcome of that? Definitely you have to tell that, okay, after I followed the structured process to resolve the issue within a day, I was able to resolve, and it has boosted the confidence and automation framework. So basically you have to tell what was the outcome of having this activity. Now, key takeaways from this is I found that structured problem solving, so it's just for you, that structured problem solving approach, effective collaboration, and clear documentation are crucial to resolving issues efficient and while preventing similar problems in the future. So that was all in this particular video. I have covered 3 questions from behavioral questions, and I am going to cover more in the next video. And if you haven't watched my previous video related to the introduction, I have created a video where I have shared structured step-by-step process to give a good introduce my yourself question. So you can go and check out that as well. So if you want to get all these questionnaires and answers at a single place, then I have created one TopMate link where you can go on my link and get this here. So top automation testing interview. So for that you have to go on this particular topmate.io automate with Amit link, and link is in the description, so you can go and check out that. So that was all in this particular video. Tell me in the comment box if you're liking this video series and you want me to cover more and more interview questions in this whole series. Tell me in the comment box. I'm going to create more and more videos like this. Thank you and see you in the next one.